Welcome back to the Essence of Greatness podcast. I'm Joshua Julian with my good, solid friend Jared Fox, and we're here to bring you the greatest in the world. We'd like to focus on Atlanta sports today. We're going to start with some Atlanta NFL in general. It's going to be a really good time for everybody, I think. So, Jared, tell the people how you're doing out there.
I'm just living day by day. That's all that matters. You make it day by day, you make it to the very end.
I said that's really the only way to live with the way that the world is going right now. But anyway, so the first topic that we're going to be bringing to you guys today and talking about is right now one of the hottest pieces of news in the cycle. Calvin Ridley has been suspended for the entire 2022 NFL season due to some issues with gambling on his own team during the season. So, Jared, start us out and give us your general thoughts here.
I mean, there's just really just no words for it. It's like it came out of the blue. Like I remember I was at work, and I looked down at my phone, and I just thought to myself, "What?" Like it wasn't for drugs. He didn't beat his wife. He didn't whatever. He literally decided, oh, I decided I'm gonna be depressed and not play football, so I don't just bet on games instead. Like, it doesn't make why? And then he came out right after and was like, "Well, it was only $1,500. It don't matter how much it was. It's in your contract, but you can't do it." Like he cost himself a whole 11 mil contract for betting $1,500. It doesn't make sense.
In all fairness, so he will still get paid that $11 million if the Falcons keep him, because it just kind of gets like rolled over to next year.
I don't think they will.
But I say that's under the assumption that A, the Falcons keep him, and B, that the Falcons trade him, which in all honesty I don't see them doing because he has single-handedly tanked his own value.
Yeah, so I'm not playing anymore.
I don't envision an NFL GM going. I don't envision an NFL GM going, I would be willing to trade for the gambling guy.
Yeah. And it's like, even if you trade for him right now, you just have to wait a whole another year before he can play for you. And he's on contract here, isn't he?
Yeah, this is going to be the last year.
Yeah, so let the trade for him just to literally, like, what? For nothing.
Basically, to get the chance to potentially franchise tag him.
That's literally the only reason. To franchise tag him or to show him, like, hey, maybe show him around the city, but yeah, don't you want to, like, take a pay cut? Like no, that's the only thing he's not even worth a 7th round pick.
Yeah, no, he would probably be worth a conditional 7th on the market right now. But the whole situation confounds me because A, I don't know how a pro athlete can be so stupid in this day and age.
Right.
I mean, they caught Pete Rose in the 80s betting on his games. And Calvin was like, I'm just going to download this app and hit up DraftKings, put in this code to get $20 off, to like get $20 in extra in free bets.
I wonder what code he used.
That's a great. I've been wondering that myself. I'm wondering if he like downloaded it and used like a YouTuber's code, or if he used like.
I wonder who profited off of him.
Bro, the man took a $1,500 bet and lost $11 million. It's truly, you don't want him running your books, that's for sure. But
for sure.
I don't get how you can break the one rule that will always get you, because I've seen the people talking about, Ray Rice only got 2 games for what he did.
Yeah, I've seen that.
All that. The fact of the matter is that while it's true that the NFL should probably discipline people, especially with domestic violence, much more harshly, the fact of the matter is the NFL has to crack down on this harder, because this happening calls into question the sanctity and the legitimacy of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are already meme pages showing highlights of Calvin Ridley doing what
running in circles like always.
Yeah, what Calvin always used to do, where he decided to run west and east versus north and south. Now, like, oh man, he must have bet the under on himself, and it's like, they're joking, but at the same time, it's like,
well,
who knows? Because now he's in trouble for it. So that's the issue is this will always follow him now. So the NFL has to crack down on this to make sure they know you cannot be betting on your
Mm-hmm.
own team in your own sport. He could bet on all the basketball he wanted. That wouldn't have been an issue.
Yeah, of course.
It's not. There's no hypocrisy here from the NFL. The NFL is okay with sports gambling as long as it's not the players gambling on their own teams.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't understand how he could let himself get. And the worst part is the tweets he fired off after. I
Oh,
don't
he
know
was like,
about you,
"Oh,
but
I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back stronger
that's
than I ever
so
was."
read them all. All right, in chronological order. I bet 1,500 total. I don't have a gambling problem, which is
We didn't
valid.
say
Like
you did.
yeah, I
Yeah,
said nobody said you had a gambling problem. It's just you made a dumb decision. And then he said I couldn't even watch football at that point, which is the one that hurts me the most because I couldn't even watch football. Okay,
your
so you
team
couldn't
is
play
playing on
football,
Sunday.
but you could bet money on that team.
Yeah, like your team
I
plays on
can't
Sunday, bro. Come on
I
now.
can't play it. I can't watch it, but I can put money on it. It's. I'm not trying to question his own mental health. I'm just saying it's not the greatest look, you know. And then he goes on to say, "It's just gonna be more healthy when I come back.
That's what
I
I
know I
said.
was wrong, but I'm getting 1 year. Lol. If you know me, you know my character.
That's why I just saw that one as I logged on my computer
So no apology to his teammates
at
or his
all.
coaching staff or the organization for putting them in this position to where the Falcons have had to field calls, probably getting offered first round picks
Easily.
on this guy for the last month, and they've had to say respectfully no. Not because they didn't want to do it, but because they knew this man was about to get suspended.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just going to come out here and, well, if you know me, you know my character. I did nothing. Yes, you did, Calvin.
Like
And he does not.
where? Yeah,
He's not taking responsibility for anything.
yeah,
He's deflecting the blame, which just makes me want to get him off the team even quicker.
yeah. It's a very bad situation in general.
It's terrible. It should be a lesson to everybody out there. Don't ever, 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 ever bet on something you are directly involved in.
That's why I decided to become fat and not play sports because I just like to bet on them instead.
Say
What? Oh, shut up, I'm freezing.
again what you just said.
Oh, I said that's why I decided to become fat and not play sports because I prefer to just bet on them. You know.
Exactly. Make the money on other people's labor. Don't dedicate all your days to.
Exactly.
You don't have to wake up at 4 a.m. to make millions of dollars. You can just put a 16 leg parlay in
Parlays
and
never
pray
fail.
it cashes, bro. Anyway, so in essence, to wrap it up, there's not much else that we can really say. I think we're all kind of in. Most Atlanta fans are in unison here of get him off the team. Don't want that kind of guy around right now because he's not taking responsibility and he's publicly almost embarrassing the organization who's done nothing but give to him. So we're going to move on to the next topic of our show, which is going to be a mock draft. You're going to get to see us do a mock draft live, but it's not going to be a specifically Falcons draft. It is going to be a 2-round full NFL mock draft. We're going to go pick for every team. We have divided it up to where Jared will pick for the odd, like the teams with the odd number picks, and I will pick for the teams with the even number picks. So Jared has one, I have two, and then we switch off back and forth. So let me that's breakout rooms. So that's not what you guys will be getting to look at. Is going to be Jared's going to have his own screen going as we go through this to where he can keep up with it on his own. So, Jared, are you all ready to go?
I'm ready to rock and roll.
All right, you got everything set up. All 32 teams are selected.
Ready.
Here we go. All 2 rounds. I'm going to start the draft. So, first of all, we're not going to be doing any trades.
Okay. I figured
just
so.
to make it easier on us because I don't want to have to negotiate all these different trades for all these different teams. So
yeah, that'd be kind of cool though. That'd take a while.
It'd be really cool, but I think we have to save that for something closer to the draft because we still have a month
Draft
and a
night
half to do
special.
this.
Yeah, draft night special.
Exactly. All right, so coming in, Jacksonville Jaguars number 1. What are you thinking, Jared?
Well, first they gotta protect Trevor Lawrence. I think that's what you look. They could go D end here, but it's the same story with the Falcons. You can't do anything unless you protect your quarterback. And they've got
Mhm.
Trevor Lawrence, and they want to stay with him forever. He's not going to want to stay there if you're not going to want to build around him. You can't build around a quarterback drafting defense. So I think here they're going to go with, in my opinion, well, honestly, being honest here, the best tackle in this draft is Charles Cross,
Okay.
but the most safe pick, they're going to take Mr. Evan Neal out of Alabama.
Okay. The tank.
Yeah, Mr. What? He's like 6'6" and stuff like that.
He's a big here. Let's pull up his. He's 6'7", 350.
6'7",
Although I
yeah.
think he weighed in around 335 at the combine. But yeah, no, he is indeed quite the monster of a man, and I think he's gonna translate in a lot of different ways. All right, so that brings us to number 2, the Detroit Lions, who do have a lot of needs. They definitely have a talent deficiency on their roster, but I think that the biggest thing that they will need, and I think it's the biggest thing that most every team needs, they need an edge rusher. It says right here they need a QB, a wide receiver, or whatever. I think when you're at number 2, specifically in this class,
Mm-hmm.
you have to take one of the top 3 edge rushers out there. And I've seen a lot of people talking about Aiden Hutchinson, and there are a lot of things about Aiden Hutchinson that I like. But I think when you're at number 2, sometimes you gotta swing for the fences. So I am of the opinion that they should take Kayvon Thibodeau because I think Kayvon will be a good player even if he busts. I think he'll still be a quality player. He's got the explosiveness and the strength to be a 6 sack guy on his worst season. But if he really dedicates himself to the craft of actually like working on his game and working on those pass rush moves, he can easily be a 15, 16 like sack guy. He can be a star. So I just don't see that as much with Aiden. I think Aiden has the higher floor. Like I think if Aiden,
Mm-hmm.
at his worst is going to be a good run defender who can, effort his way into sacks. But I think at his best, he's going to max out at like a 10 sack guy. I think Kayvon has a chance to get a lot higher than that, which is why I went Kayvon.
I see that. I see that. Yeah, I'd probably go Kayvon there too. If not Kayvon, I'd trade back probably if I'm the Lions, honestly.
That's the other thing
Um,
is they just need talent, so trading back wouldn't be the worst
yeah,
idea in the world.
I think the Lions would be trading back somewhere with, I don't know, maybe the Seahawks at this point. The Seahawks could easily jump up and take someone absolutely insane. The Seahawks sit nice at 9 right now, but yeah, they could easily jump into 2 if they wanted to. But at 3, um, see the Texans same thing. They need anything, any
You know,
player they
like,
can find, anybody that lives and breathes. That's all they
mm-hmm.
basically need. So basically, you're looking at just best available, and in my opinion, best available left for them at least. You're probably looking at Kyle Hamilton or Charles Cross, but I don't think they want to draft the tackle. I think they'd rather
Yeah,
go with the skill
especially with
position.
Tunzel.
Yeah, I think they'd rather go with Kyle Hamilton, a skill position. So
All
that's
right.
what I'm gonna give them.
So number 3, we've got Kyle Hamilton to the Texans. Not a bad pick. So when we get to number 4, you've got the New York Jets. New York Jets, obviously, they too have a decent amount of issues, but I think the biggest, drafting for need is one of those things where it kind of gets a little iffy. But
Mm-hmm.
I think in this case, we're drafting for need, but we're filling that need with the best player available, in my humble opinion. So if you look, you're looking at all these guys. I don't necessarily think they'll take a tackle just yet, because I think at number 4, it's kind of too soon to be banking, like getting rid of Mekhi Becton. And
Yeah,
George Fant has actually been a mediocre player, so you can kind of deal with that. They've got much bigger needs, and I think if you look at who they had at corner specifically last year, they had nobody in the secondary.
not
It
a
was a
single
bunch of
person.
fifth-round rookies. So I think they take the best corner on the board, and for me, that's Sauce Gardner. So Sauce Gardner is the pick at number 4 for the simple fact. I mean, I've seen some stuff about. I mean, Derek Stingley has the athleticism and he had a great freshman year, but Ahmad Gardner never gave up a touchdown in college football. And you
Yeah,
can talk about the level of competition all you want. The dude's 6'3", 200, and I think he ran like a 4.3 something, or if not that, a very low 4.4.
something close. Yeah, something
Yeah,
close to that.
he's an athletic freak, and he already knows what he's doing in both zone and man. As far as I'm concerned, he's going to step in and be a number 1 corner from day one.
Yeah, it's just especially for that team.
Yeah, exactly. They need that,
Yeah, that's a
especially with
starter.
them
He's
also
starting no matter
losing
what.
safeties.
Yes. Yeah. That's definitely a good pick for them. They even if he is not as good as he, was in college, which I don't know, he won't be as good as he was in college. It's the NFL. Like he'll be good, but he's gonna give up a touchdown. Like come on now, you talk, I'm not gonna give up a touchdown. You're gonna give up a touchdown. It's the NFL. Um, for the Giants though, here at 5, they do have number 7, so they can kind of be a little hit or miss. They don't have to actually swing for the fences. I mean, they can, but they kind of get, they can play with it a little bit. They could trade one of them, keep both of them, but they definitely do need an offensive line because they can't run the ball for about nothing.
No.
So I'm gonna give them Mr. Ikem Ekwonu.
Icky. Icky
They
at
need
5.
something, no matter what part of the line it is. They just need something up there.
And he's something. That dude ran a
Here's something,
4.93.
man. They
I say
yeah,
I think
he's
Evan
something.
Neal's the safer bet, but Icky has the chance to be a better tackle than all of them.
Mm-hmm.
This is a really good class for offensive linemen when you really look
If
into it.
shoot, never mind. Go ahead. Big 6. I was saying what I was
All right.
gonna say. So,
Number 6, Carolina Panthers. I think here it's a pretty cut and dried. It's a pick I've seen made for them a ton, and I think they have to do it. It's got to be Charles Cross because they have no real good players on their O line. And I mean, say what you will about the quarterback, say what you will about whatever, they need to start in the trenches. And they've started on the defense. They've picked up guys like Derek Brown and Brian Burns, and their defensive line looks good. Their offensive line is not good. And I
mm-hmm.
think you got to get a guy like Charles Cross in this situation because I mean, looking at it, you can get an edge rusher and that would help, but it's not the biggest pressing need for them. Um, and you cannot find a tackle like Charles Cross in free agency. Charles Cross is, I think, already the best pass protector on the edge in this draft, and he has a potential to be better because he's coming from the air raid. So put him in a pro style offense and just let him go.
Let him rip.
Yeah.
Let him rip. I love me some Charles Cross. Um, so here at 7, what I was gonna say is let me forget. Okay, there we go. The Giants here they could easily go a center. They could take Tyler Linderbaum at 5, but it's just too much of a stretch. It's too early. But if they want to trade back, because they do need center more than tackle, so they want to trade back, they could and try and get Linderbaum. And if they can't get Linderbaum, there's plenty of options for them to still take at
Mm-hmm.
7. Or if they trade back to mid-teens, they're not going to miss. They'll be fine. At 7, I don't think you can let this player get any farther. I think Hayden Hutchinson has to go at 7,
Mm-hmm.
simply because you don't want to let him keep falling like that.
Yeah.
I personally don't think he's going to be as good, in my opinion. I think
But
he's
like
one
you
of those
said,
hit or miss, but he
it
could
comes
be
down to the floor. At
exactly,
minimum, you get a starting caliber NFL defensive end.
especially for the Giants. They've been
Yeah.
lackluster.
Yeah.
I'm from a Falcons fan. I can't really talk, but not pass rush. But the Giants, I mean, they've got some talent,
Mm-hmm.
but it's always just one random person, kind of like every now and then getting some every here and there. There's
They've
no
been
one single player doing the work. It's a bunch of medium players. They need someone that can get in there and help just get some juice, and then
yeah.
all those decent players will go with them because they're getting one on ones instead of getting doubled or you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean. Indeed.
Yeah,
All right, which brings us up to the Atlanta Falcons.
George Pickens.
Of course, this is our team. Done a lot of thinking on this, and my strategy, if you had asked me yesterday, would be completely different than what my strategy is today. Originally, I'd be looking at Derek Stingley, Trent McDuffie, Andrew Booth. I'd be looking at a corner, maybe Karlaftis since he's right there. Although, based on his measurements and some of the athleticism, I question if he's going to be more than a situational pass rusher guy. So, um, I would have been looking defense for sure in the first round because my thought process would be maybe you can bring back Calvin Ridley, and you can add a receiver later in the draft for depth, but you can sign some guys in free agency. But now, if you sign guys in free agency, it really doesn't matter because right now your only receiver under contract is Frank Darby. And banking on Russell Gage potentially taking a hometown discount is not the way that I want to go. So then it comes down to what wide receiver do I want? And there are so many good ones in this class, but I think we need the one receiver type that we've been missing for a while. And I mean, we haven't had a guy like this for a couple years, and we've had a guy who was like it, but injuries kind of slowed him down. I'm taking Drake London because a 6'5", 210 wide receiver who can win jump balls and is also a decent enough route runner and has the potential for more. I'm sold. Like, take my money. Take my money.
What did he run at the 40?
But I don't know if he did it. He is coming off a broken ankle.
That's right. He's running at this pro day.
Let me see if I can't.
I think his pro day is the very last one. I was looking at an article. His pro day is like the very, very last one they're going to do.
Okay. Well, he did. So he checked in at almost 6'4". He's 3 feet, 6 feet 3 and 7/8 inches, 219 pounds. He's got 33-inch arms, 77 and 3/4 inch wingspan. And then he didn't do any of the other stuff, but just looking at the way he played, I mean, in an offense at USC that had like 3 different quarterbacks, he was their leading receiver. He's got a basketball background, so he knows how to go up and box people out. Him and Kyle Pitts on the outside together is going to be a menace to society.
And Frank Darby.
And of course, Frank Darby to take a top off. And because that's the thing, like, I mean, I like Chris Olave as a receiver, but I think you can find those smaller kind of savvy route runners in free agency, or you can in the draft. If you don't get Drake London right there, Christian Watson in the second or third, I think would be a great pickup. We'll get to that. But the Falcons need a big body guy at the receiver because it can't just be Kyle Pitts. That was the biggest problem I always had with the Falcons was they only had Julio Jones who could body people. And then you had like all the small guys. I think you got to have a few different guys on a team that can just like out muscle a dude for a ball.
Mm-hmm. That way it eliminates the double teams.
Exactly.
It was the same way with you when you had the trio of, you had Julio, when you had Julio and Calvin, and Julio was actually playing good. It was like, man, which one do I want to double? Because you can double Julio, sure, but if you give Calvin that 1-1 on the outside and he's got the right route on, touchdown.
He's gonna cook somebody, yeah.
He's gonna score. And that's why he scored so many touchdowns that 1 year, because they were doubling Julio. That's why Julio never had a red zone touchdown, because he was literally double, triple coverage every single time.
So because as Falcons fans, we know they struggle in the red zone, and it's been a weird team-wide thing. No matter who's calling the plays, getting a 6'5" guy to pair with a 6'6" tight end, who both are crazy athletic. I mean, it makes Matt Ryan's job that much easier once you get down there.
Oh yeah, if you have two freaking massive receivers, even if they double both of them, okay, now here's your slot. Just run a slant, run it out. Give me a hook out of the backfield with freaking hopefully Cordell Patterson. Easy.
All right. So much. Number 9, the Seahawks. We're gonna move on. We can talk about the Falcons all day.
Yeah, sure. We really could. So for the Seahawks, I was looking at it. Man, they need some stuff. They need some help, in my opinion. They're looking like they need a quarterback, in my opinion. They need a quarterback. Drew Lock's a starter. They don't, but this quarterback draft ain't it. They'll have to roll with Drew Lock this year, unless they go free agency. Running back Chris Carson's injury prone as hell, but that's too early. They need offensive line, they need D line, and they need a DB. So I think with DB being on the board, you got to go Derek Stingley. Because this team's not going to win a Super Bowl this year unless they go out and sign some crazy free agent quarterback. Even then, I don't think they can, because you can't really sign much better than Russell Wilson. So I think
there isn't a crazy free agent quarterback.
Exactly. So I think they're just going to take top talent, and they'll go Derek Stingley.
Yeah. Okay. So brings us to the Jets. And previously in the draft, the Jets at number 4, I picked up Sauce Gardner for him. So he built out the defense. I think, this team is they're very talent deficient. That's for sure. I think you got to pick somebody else up for the offense then, because you've helped the defense with a corner. I think you can get by to an extent with their edge rushers. And again, a lot of it is I don't necessarily buy the hype on George Karlaftis right now. I think he's going to fall down boards a little bit.
Very much so.
And I also think, I mean, their receiver group last year, you gotta give a young guy like Zach Wilson more than Jamison Crowder. So it's hard to go wrong with a receiver here. But and this is all personal opinion here. This is all personal preference. Where is it? I'm giving him Chris Olave because I see the hype with Garrett Wilson. I think Garrett Wilson's the better athlete, but I think Chris Olave is going to come in tomorrow and route up 80% of the NFL DBs. And Chris Olave is still an athlete. Don't get this wrong. He ran a 4.36 at the combine.
Like
yeah, I say he's still an incredible athlete on his own. And I take him over Garrett Wilson because I think he's way more polished than Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson will come in, be more of a deep threat like tomorrow. He can take a top off the defense, but Olave can do that while also routing you up in the short and middle. So I think that's what the Jets need is they need somebody like that because they have a guy like Corey Davis who is a bit of a bigger body. So I think Olave is a good partner for him on the outside.
Definitely see that. See, for me, if I'm the Jets, I don't know. They've many needs in my opinion. So
of course,
it all fits. So for the Commanders, sorry, I almost called them the Washington football team. The Commanders here, they need a quarterback. You know, that's obvious. They've had quarterback problems since freaking Alex Smith left. They need defense. They definitely need defense. That's bad. The
which
question
is wild because they were so good 2 years ago.
And then last year it was like they had not a single bit of defense, and I was like, okay, interesting. I would love to see them get someone to pair with Terry McLaurin at some point in this draft because I think that would be absolutely insane to watch. Adam Humphries, sorry, you're not it, my guy. You're decent at best, but I think for them here, they're gonna load this defense with talent, and I'm gonna hand them to Kobe Dean.
Nakobe Dean at 11. Wow.
There's a lot of young talent on this defense, and I think adding another linebacker like Nakobe, looking at their depth chart, this defense is fast. It's fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm with you there. All right. Brings us to the Vikings. And as we see, first of all, on what they're writing, they do have a decent amount of needs. But I think their biggest need is corner because I do believe they only have one cornerback signed for this coming season in Cameron Dantzler. Mackenzie Alexander and Patrick Peterson are both free agents. So then, I mean, obviously the top corners are gone, but there's still plenty of good corners on the board as we see right here. And if I'm looking at it, I'm going Andrew Booth. I think I'm a little bit higher on Andrew Booth than most other like draft pundits, but I think the dude is a sticky man cover guy who I think can come in tomorrow and help out on one side of the field. And I think that's exactly what Minnesota needs right now.
Yeah, they just need some help. That's all they need. They need some help.
Indeed.
So for the Browns here, honestly, with the Browns, they announced that Baker Mayfield's going to be their quarterback. I don't know why. Dude's garbage. But you got to get the man some help, I guess. If he's going to be there, he needs some help. He needs a wide receiver. He needs a wide receiver. And if it's up to me, I'm giving him Jameson Williams. Just because I think he's coming off an injury, but I think he's got a really good upside. And the Browns, at least in my opinion, I think they always swing a little too hard. Baker Mayfield at 1 was, yes, every time it definitely should be Baker. Like I feel like every time I watch the Browns pick, it's just like, I don't know. In my opinion, it doesn't work out for me, which is why they haven't made it any farther than first round of the playoffs. So, yeah. But yeah, James Williams 13.
All right, Ravens on the clock at 14. I can tell you right now, I'm looking at edge rusher. The Ravens always seem to lose people to free agency every year. especially at the edge rushing position. So they always end up kind of rebuilding it. They picked up Adafe Owe last year, and I think that's a solid pickup. I think he'll be good this year. And I think they'll go kind of the same route this year with this kind of the same way. So I'm giving him Trayvon Walker because Trayvon Walker he is just scratching the surface of how good of a edge rusher he can be. And I think if you put him in an area like Baltimore, who just churns out DNs that can rush the passer every year, I think it's the perfect place for him. It's such a perfect match of player and team.
I like that. So for the Eagles here, it's one of those questions of they need defense, but they still have yet to necessarily address the wide receiver position. They've got Devontae Smith, but I swear every year, their number one need is a receiver. Every year, they're looking at a receiver. Like they've got Devontae Smith, they got Whiteside, they've got Jalen Reagor, who just runs around in a circle and is a waste of space. Dude, I don't know what he does. It's like the Nelson Aguilar discussion when he was on with a Pat. What was he on? And he's freaking
on Eagles.
Right? Eagles. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Nelson Aguilar. Jesus. And now he plays for the Raiders or the Patriots.
Patriots.
And he's like actually good again. It's like, I don't know. It's obviously too early to go receiver for them. It's not that big of a need. It's a need, but this wide receiver is deep in this draft class.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually going to hand them with this one. I'm going to hand them Ojabo.
David Ojabo, the edge rusher.
They need some help on the D line over there.
Absolutely. I like that. Okay. So since you were talking about how much they needed a wide receiver, I'm going to go ahead and give them one right now because I think they absolutely have to take a wide receiver first round. The question is, which one do they want? And when you look through the guys that are available, there are really only two guys left that I think would be considered definite first rounds, and that's Treylon Burks and Garrett Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jahan Dotson has an argument, but I think that's towards the back of the first round, not 16, especially with the other guys that are on the board. So if I'm the Eagles, out of those two, looking at my team, I'm taking Treylon Burks. I'm not the biggest fan of Treylon because I think he's incredibly raw, but with the wide receivers that are available and with their need, I think you got to take the physical specimen over the speedster because you already have supposedly in Jalen Reagor, and you need more of a physical guy. Devonta Smith is the guy that can route you up and kind of break your ankles. Treylon Burks is the dude that can just jump over you or run you over. So I think it'd be a perfect 1-2 complement on the outside for Jalen Hurts.
I like that. So the Chargers here, they re-signed Michael Williams, I want to say?
Yes, 3 years, $60 million.
All right. Is Keenan Allen still on contract, right? Or is he going to be done?
Keenan's still there. I don't know how much longer he has off the top of my head.
I'm going to assume Keenan's going to be there. So I don't really see a need for offense at the time unless it's O-line. But I think their O-line was actually good last year, if I remember correctly. I know Rashawn Slater was an absolute monster.
Mm-hmm.
There's running backs.
And I'm pretty sure they're the ones that signed Corey Linsley. So
Yeah, they did. They basically stole the Packers O-line between Corey Linsley and Brian Bulaga.
Yeah.
They said, "Come here, you're mine now." So I'm not going to address. There's no need to add the offense. I think maybe they want to draft offense later in the draft to get a receiver to replace Keenan Allen in a couple of years. That makes sense. But for this first round pick, I'm going to go defense, and we're going to snag them. Probably, I don't know. Their linebackers are a little iffy, but I don't know.
Okay.
I'm gonna hand them Devin Lloyd. I think that'll be a good fit for them. I think that's a good fit because their linebacker is probably the weakest part of their team, so I think that's what they need to address.
That is indeed a truth. All right, so New Orleans Saints are on the clock, and this is to me a chicken egg debate. Do the Saints need better weapons for their quarterback, or do they need a better quarterback for their weapons?
Yes.
This wasn't an issue when Drew Brees was there, but now it is because it's either the 31-year-old Mormon, crab legs, or whatever you want to call Ian Book. I don't call him a quarterback.
A bum.
But he's there. So, and if you're New Orleans at this point, because we both agree that the quarterback class here is subpar to say the least, if I'm New Orleans, I think I am going Desmond Ritter because I think Desmond Ritter offers the best combination of upside and floor. I think he can come in right now and competently run. I think if you were to put him in an NFL offense right now, he's very close to Jalen Hurts. He's not as electric with the ball in his hands, but he did run a 4.52, so he's got that athleticism. And I think he's marginally better at reading the defense as of right now. And I think if you give him time and kind of let him grow, he has a chance to become an above average NFL starter. So if I'm them, I'm taking the bet on he can start right away, or we can sit him for a year and he can get even better. But either way, he's the perfect mix of like Kenny Pickett and Malik Willis. Because Kenny Pickett's probably going to come in right now and be an average NFL quarterback, but I don't think Kenny Pickett's getting any higher than that. And with Malik Willis, I don't think Malik Willis can come in right now and start and competently run an NFL offense. But I think in 2 years, if given the right tutelage, he could be like a Pro Bowl, All Pro type guy potentially.
Definitely see that. So Desmond put in Desmond here. Hold up. He's too far down.
Yeah, so I had to specifically put quarterback, so I didn't have to. They have Sam Howell as their top quarterback on PFF.
Yes.
That's wild to me.
It should be Bailey Zapp, no cap.
Anyway, at 19, we're on the third Eagles draft.
The third Eagles first. If it's up to me, honestly, they would have traded one of these by now. I don't see any reason why they'd stick all three in 1 year. Why not spread them out? But they're going to address the DB here and get McDuffie. I think he's the best DB left. I know Petrie's high up there. People say Kyrie Alam. I think he's overrated.
Yeah, he seems like a lot more traits than anything.
Yeah, you could wait a while and go safeties. A bunch of safeties you go second round. You got Lewis Seen, Brisker's up there.
Jalen Petrie, from what I know, Jalen Petrie is also a safety. I don't know why he's listed as a corner here, but so it's interesting.
You can wait and go McCreary second round, but I think they're going to go ahead and grab McDuffie while he's here. I think Darius Slay's still in Philadelphia for another year at least, maybe. So you can learn from Darius Slay. Darius Slay had a great year.
Absolutely. All right. I think number 20 to Pittsburgh it's probably the worst kept secret. They need a quarterback, and that they're going to get one in this draft because, I mean, I don't know about you, but I have very little faith in Mason Rudolph's ability to play quarterback at the NFL level. So they can't take Malik Willis because I think they need a quarterback for tomorrow. And contrary to what PFF seems to be, I am not high on Sam Howell at all. I'm higher on Matt Corral. I think Matt Corral can be a decent player, but I just don't think he's worth the risk in the first round because he's a little small for me. I think he could be a little injury prone. So I'm going Kenny Pickett because I think he's the best equipped to walk into the room tomorrow and seize the starting spot.
I'm very I'm very confident the Steelers are going to trade eventually in this draft and take Ritter eventually. I think it'll have to, unless someone in the top 10 shocks the world and takes a quarterback, which is possible, but I don't think it's going to happen. They're going to jump the Saints and probably take one of the Eagles picks or the Chargers pick because they know the Saints are probably going to quarterback, and that's really the only contender for a quarterback outside of the Saints. Other than like Washington. Carolina could if they really, really wanted to.
Originally Denver at 20, but no longer.
It's like there's no one else above pick 20 that's going to make the push for a quarterback other than like the Saints, really. So they could definitely jump them because it wouldn't take much to trade up 3 or 4 picks.
Yeah. Patriots on the clock at 21.
Patriots on the clock. Well, Patriots, we all know what they need. They need a wide receiver. They need defense. Those are 2 big needs. Wide receiver on the offense, and then just defense. But they need stuff from Mac Jones. They need to build around Mac Jones. I'm gonna give him Garrett Wilson here. Give him more weapons.
Okay. All right. We're on the Oakland Raiders right here, and the Raiders are an interesting animal. I think biggest thing they need is an offensive line because I think they've got some weapons already with their running backs and Darren Waller. And I think that their defense they've got some issues. I just don't think that this is the right spot for Karlaftis. I don't think he would come in and really have a chance to play, which I think is what he needs. So if I am the Vegas, personally, you got to go tackle here because you picked Alex Leatherwood last year and he didn't work out. So I think you need another tackle. And so for that reason, I'm giving him Trevor Penning. I think he is nasty enough on the outside. He wants to bury anybody and everybody that comes across. He comes across, and I think that's what they need. So if I'm them, I'm putting him on the other on one of the tackle spots and letting him maul people.
I like that. So here at the Cardinals pick, I think there's no debate they need offensive line. But they're also going to lose. They're going to lose Christian Kirk, but they have Rondell Moore to replace him, in my opinion.
Yep.
So if they're going offense, it's got to be O-line. If they go defense, it's got to be DB. So I think they're probably going offense, though, because that O-line was ugly. And also Tyler Linderbaum's in here, so I don't think they can pass up on that by any means necessary. So they go Linderbaum here at 23.
Okay, that's a good pick. I like that. Cowboys pick at 24, I think is quite simple. They got to go Karlaftis here because I don't think they're bringing Rick Gregory back. I don't think they have the money to do it. And honestly, I think there's a non-zero chance that they cut DeMarcus Lawrence because he is way too expensive for a guy that's churning out 5 sacks a year.
Oh, he's
so they need somebody. And like I said, I don't know about Karlaftis becoming a superstar edge, but I think Karlaftis can come in and be a decent starting end right now. And I think his ceiling is a lot lower than those other two guys at the top, but I think his floor is right around where Aiden Hutchinson's was.
I definitely can see that. So the Bills.
Buffalo Bills.
So for me, it says wide receiver. I mean, I think Stephon Diggs and Gabriel Davis definitely carry the load. Isaiah McKenzie's in there. Cole Beasley. I don't see why it says any wide receiver unless they somehow lose Stephon Diggs, which is not happening.
They might have to cut Cole Beasley to get some money, but even
that's
then,
fine.
it's like they've got
they
him.
Can easily cut him.
Gabriel Davis, like that's really
Yeah, and then their backups are Emmanuel Sanders and Isaiah McKenzie. Isaiah McKenzie's
although I think Sanders was on a 1-year deal, so he might.
Okay, well then Isaiah McKenzie. I mean, and they're not going to waste a first-round pick on.
They'll be fine.
Here. If they did, that'd be insane. Their offense would be nasty. It already is nasty, but it'd be absolutely insane. Right here is my man, Mr. Big, Mr. Monster in the trenches, Mr. Jordan Davis. Pairing him with what's his face? Oh shoot, Ed Oliver.
Yeah. Ooh.
Ed Oliver down there in the trenches, man. Ooh, that's gonna be fun to watch.
In all honesty, I think Jordan goes a little higher than 25 potentially. I mean, some team might talk themselves into him becoming a pass rusher. I think 25, especially in Buffalo, I think that's a perfect spot for him.
He needs. They need defensive line, so definitely fits well.
Indeed. All right, Tennessee Titans at 26. Now, Tennessee is a very interesting case study, and I think a lot of it will depend on what happens with Harold Landry the next few weeks because he was not franchise tagged, so he is a free agent. So if Harold Landry leaves, they'll 100% go edge. But right now, I think they'd be leading offensive line in order to block for just their offense because if Julio can get healthy, they have Julio and AJ Brown who have the potential to be one of the best duos in the league if Julio is still that guy. And they also have Derrick Henry, but Derrick Henry needs blocking. So I'm giving him Kenyon Green here because Kenyon Green on the inside, I think, can open up some holes, especially if they happen to lose Ben Jones in free agency. They're going to need somebody else on the inside to kind of help solidify that area. They can find a center later in this draft, or they can find one in free agency. But I think Kenyon Green is a road grader on defense or on in the run game. I think they need that right now.
Yeah, I mean they definitely need because that Titans offense runs purely through Derrick Henry most of the time. That's what it's designed for. Derrick Henry is meant to be used to run the offense through me.
Oh, and then the other thing is his versatility because at Texas A&M he played every position on the line except for center. I forgot about that. So at minimum, you can try him out at tackle. You can try him out at guard. You can even try him out at center. We saw Zion Johnson picked up center over actually Zion Johnson would have been a good pick there. Ooh.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was looking at. I was like, you can take
Man,
Zion
I
here.
forgot about him. I was just looking at the guys on the screen. I forgot about Zion. Dang.
That's
Oh well.
exactly what I was thinking. I thought you were gonna take.
Anyway, Tampa Bay on clock, 27th pick. This is gonna be long.
Well,
Sorry, guys.
oh well. With this one, I mean, says any quarterback, you can't. This is just a terrible year for quarterback right here. Um, Offensive line. I mean, it doesn't even matter if you don't have a good quarterback how bad your offensive line is. Their offensive line isn't even that bad. It's good enough. So I think they just got to go D line here. I think they take Devontae Wyatt. That's the next
That's
best. That's the best. That's the best one available, in my opinion.
yeah. I'm with you on that one. It's just because the versatility that he would bring. He can kind of play anywhere, like kind of
Yeah,
up and down the line.
he's more of a pass rusher than Jordan Davis, but he's less of a run stopper.
Yeah.
A little more pass rusher than him. He's
All
not like
right.
390
So
pounds.
Green Bay Packers. Will they actually do this? Probably not, because they seem to hate themselves. But they have to go wide receiver. There's no
Agreed.
other option. They
Agreed.
have to go wide receiver. They've got Devontae Adams, who's great, but he might only be around for one more year. And Marquez Valdez-Scantling has gotten every opportunity to be a number 2, and he hasn't been able to do it. Same thing with Alan Lazard. So if I'm them, you don't know Devontae Adams is a big body. I think you need a home run hitter, somebody that can kind of take the stress off of Aaron Rodgers. You can dump it down to him, and he can do something. I'm taking Jahan Dotson.
Jahan Dotson.
I think Jahan Dotson has a chance to be a very big. He has a big play receiver out of Penn State. I think he could be a very, very good pickup for this team, and provide some home run hitting ability.
Definitely like that pick there. They need a receiver. I would 100% that receiver there because they need one. They're gonna lose. They're gonna lose Lazard and what's his face, the other guy too. But the 29 Dolphins chilling here. They got to help Tua. I don't think Tua is the answer, but obviously they're not going to replace Tua with freaking Malik Harris or Sam Howell this year. So they got to go O line, in my opinion, and I think they're going to be the ones that take Zion Johnson.
Who?
Zion Johnson, Boston College.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, I just didn't hear the name. Oh, there he is. Man, he is way too low on this. Anyway, all right. Kansas City Chiefs, pick number 30. The Chiefs have a few things that they could look for right here. They obviously don't. They don't need offensive line. I think that's kind of been solidified for them. Honestly, if I'm them, I'm looking edge rushing because I think they could use a little help on the edge to kind of get some pressure on the other opposing. Whatchamacallit. And this is where you start to kind of dip into obviously the second tier of edge rushers. But I think there's one more that is left that I think can be a really good player, and that is Jermaine Johnson.
Correct.
I think he's going to step in and be a good run defender, and I think he has a potential to be a very good pass rusher. He's a 3-down guy on the edge, and I think that's what the Chiefs have been missing, especially since they're still playing Frank Clark 20-something million to get him 5 sacks. Jermaine can come in and give you that at a fraction.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
I wonder who the Bengals are going to pick here.
I think they're gonna take that one mock and take Kenny Pickett. You know, he's already gone. No, I think they're gonna definitely take the best guy on the board left, O line, Bernard Raymond. Just because they gotta take O line is obvious.
Yeah, I'm with you. There's no explanation needed. All right, so 32. Do we want to do the second round today, or do we want to cut this one a little short, and then we can do a 2-round another day?
We can either cut it short or just fly through the second. Either way, don't work.
I think we're going to cut it short because I want to just fly through the second round and cheapen it. I think we'll stick with the 1 round, and then next week we can do a 2-round.
We'll load it. Yeah, of course.
So the Detroit Lions, if you recall, going back up on Thibodeau at number 2. So for the next year. Wouldn't take a quarterback if I were them. Jared Goff is not good, but Jared Goff is also not actively bad necessarily. He's just kind of there. But at the same time, I'm not a big fan of any of the wide receivers left for them right here. I think they can wait a little bit and pick up, a Sky Moore or a George Pickens or, John Mechie. I think they can find a good guy in the second round or third round. So if I'm them right here, I am going to pick up a corner because they really do not have a great corner on their squad right now. And looking at who's available, I think the best one on the board, personally, Roger McCreary.
100%.
I think Kyer Elam, I think, has a higher ceiling necessarily because, I mean, the dude's huge, fast, and long. But I just, never heard of him doing anything at Florida. I only know about him from mock drafts because they love his tools. So not necessarily someone I want to really buy into here. So I'm going to give him Roger McCreary because I think Roger can come in and immediately start at minimum in the slot, and I think he can work his way up to be an outside corner.
100%.
So go ahead and stop sharing my screen. That is going to do it for that's going to do it for that mock draft. It's going to do it for today's episode. Next week, we'll be bringing you that 2-round mock draft like we promised today, but time constraints and, kind of rambling about the Falcons has left us from being able to do the 2 rounds. But either way. Jared, got anything you want to say before we head out?
Calvin Ridley, wherever you are, just enjoy your life, man. Live to the fullest.
Say that one more time. Sorry, you cut out for me.
Oh, I said Calvin Ridley, wherever you are, just live your life to the fullest, my guy.
So you're suspended now. Might as well keep betting, right?
Keep betting. Keep making that money, big dog.
Just don't bet on football. Bet on basketball.
Bet on March Madness, man. Right around the corner.
Yeah, come on. Just wait and bet on Alabama to make a run or something. I don't know. Anyway.
UGA.
So.
All the way. What an SEC. Come on.
Okay. Jared has started to say things
edit that
crazy.
Out. Let's
So
edit that out. That's not happening.
No, we're keeping that in.
I want some Tom Crean. Tom freaking doo-doo.
Jared has gotten to the point in the night where he's starting to say crazy things. So I think that this is the best time for us to leave you to your guys' day. So thank you for tuning in and have a good life. See you later.